We are one day away, just one tiny day away from the fight that we have been waiting for. I'm gonna wait for a lot more of y'all to come in here. Anybody to come in here for right now. Wait for people to jump in here, and then I'm gonna give my official prediction live. This right here is a Truth and Absolute channel exclusive because I ain't never given my prediction live right here with you guys. And guess what? I'm about to do it. As soon as y'all start jumping up in here, we will do it. JJVF, what's good? What's good? Lemon in the house. I'm just gonna let it fill up a little bit more, guys, and then I'm gonna give my official prediction live. I've never done this before on my channel. I've never done this before. Let me clean up some of this stuff on my desk, man. My kids, I love my kids, man, but they can make incredible messes that you're like, how did you do that on accident? There's no way. There's no way. It got here quick, y'all. It got here so fast. I can't believe that we're one day away from this fight. What is going on? Time goes too quick. You're just joining the live right now. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get up in here. And, oh, heck yeah. That's what's up, JJVF. That's what's up. So, official prediction. This is an exclusive. I've never done this on my channel before. I'm about to break down the fight, what I believe is going to happen. And at the very end, I'm gonna give you guys my official prediction, who I think is gonna win, how they're gonna win. It's all gonna go down here soon. T, is that you? Let a few more people jump in there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking to... Yo, T, is that you? What's up? Welcome to the live. The official prediction for Canelo versus Terrence Bud Crawford. I know you guys seen the weigh-ins. I know you guys been watching the videos everywhere about people's prediction. I know you guys been looking at the podcast. I know you guys been looking at all that. Roy Jones Jr., Andre Ward, Teddy Atlas, Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I mean, talking about bringing the stars out. Okay, Lemon, I see that. I see that. Let's wait for a few more people to come in here. I know there's a lot of people doing lives right now, and I'm not mad at them. What's going on, you guys? I have not gotten started. Everyone that just jumped in the room right now, this is the first time that I give a prediction live on my channel. And what other better fight than for Canelo versus Terrence Bud Crawford? So, just gonna wait for a few more people to get in here, then I'm gonna start popping, start going, start cooking. Make sure that you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Make sure you hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. Just give it a little tap, tap. Just a tap, tap. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Emery, what's going on? JJVF, what is going on, everybody? You know what? I'm just going to get started now. So, this fight, once upon a time, and I got to say it, I haven't gotten started. If you just got up in here, you're right on time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. I'm barely going to get started in here. So, once upon a time, this fight was unheard of. Not only for us, we didn't think about this fight, right? Once upon a time, even for Canelo Alvarez, once upon a time, even for Terrence Bud Crawford, it's not a fight that they were chasing. It's not a fight that they were looking at. They weren't even a thought in each other's heads. I've said this before, and if you ask me, this is big having to do with the fight. Why do I say that? Because Terrence Crawford, for whatever reason, is Turkish Al-Sheikh's boy, right? That's his boy right there. We could see that Turkish Al-Sheikh is taking really good care of him. Okay. Bud did not, he didn't care for the fight with Canelo. Why would he care for the fight with Canelo Alvarez? He was way out of his weight class. At the time, it just seemed something crazy. But guess what, man? Money talks. I'm talking Chris Tucker. Money talks, right? Obviously, if you offer Terrence Bud Crawford the biggest payday of his career, more than likely he's going to say yes. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, once upon a time, seen it as a lose-lose. You throw 150 of them things at him, you got yourself a fight. Let's do it. Riyadh season. Looking at this fight, what am I looking at? Let me start off by saying I am pretty surprised. You guys know me. I'm all for anybody having any opinion about a fight, how it's going to go down, whatever. Anybody has an opinion, right? I am going to say this, though. When we're talking about a professional fighter, professional analyst who used to be fighters, who used to be trainers, have been around the sport forever, right? They were doing it in their diapers, combinations and stuff, watching sports, black and white, Jack Dempsey, right? And you get surprised at the answers that you often hear when doing that, okay? When I'm hearing that most analysts are picking Terence Bud Crawford to win, I'm not mad at that. They're welcome to have an opinion, whatever. What gets me is that they always say that you're only as good as your last opponent. When you look at resumes on both fighters, right? You see who Canelo's fought. You look at Terence Bud Crawford and you say to yourself, okay, this is the absolute biggest fight of Terence Bud Crawford's career. There's no debating that. This is the biggest fight of Terence Bud Crawford's career. Not even close came any other fight that he fought before. When you look at the Canelo side, Canelo, this is one of the biggest fights of his career, but it's not the biggest fight of Canelo's career. We got a lot of people in here. Y'all make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm just getting started. Canelo Alvarez, this is one of the big fights for him. And did you guys notice, because I sure as hell did, Canelo went from not interested in this fight to very interested in this fight. And I'm not simply talking about the 150 million he's gonna be making in this fight. I'm talking about there's something else motivating him about this fight. You see it in the way that he looks. You see it in the way that he's handling interviews. You see it in the way that he's answering questions. Talking about the face-off, I saw a few analysts today, one of them being Roy Jones Jr., ex-great champion of the sport, of course. It seems like he always finds a way to give Bud the edge. And I'm all for that, but I asked myself, Terence Bud Crawford, and I love Bud, y'all, don't take it personal, does not have an elite name on his resume. Can he beat elite names? Absolutely. But we're talking about Canelo Alvarez. So I gotta ask myself, based off of who did he fight that you saw him fight? What did you see that'll give you that opinion? How do you come up with that conclusion? Jumping weight classes, doing all of that. How do you look at a stare down, not even a stare down, a face off, and say one guy beat the other one because one turned around first? What if you look at it from a different perspective and say, why is this guy trying so hard to stare this guy down? This guy is relaxed and he has the same face that he has in every single fight. Speaking about Canelo Alvarez, of course. Why are we finding every little reason to give it to Bud as far as the super high profile analysts go? I'm not sure what they're looking at, because everything that he's done in the ring, he hasn't done it against a fighter of Canelo's magnitude. Can he? Probably. I'm going to say probably. It's Terence Crawford. I'm going to say probably. But looking at the large picture, and Canelo, you don't gotta probably nothing when you're talking about Canelo. You don't have to probably nothing because he's showed it. You could try to downplay his wins, you could try to downplay his opponents, you could try to downplay anything. But the reality is that his resume talks. If he's applying to a position where he's sitting at right now, he qualifies. This guy still has a little bit more to show you. Doesn't mean he's not qualified, but he's gonna have to show it first. So from that, how do you gather that this guy is going to beat this guy? You know what I'm saying? How do we come up with that conclusion? If someone would bring me a solid argument, break it down, besides the fact that, 10 years ago I did the same thing, Bud deadlifts 500 pounds. You just got to bring something that tells me, and listen, it's not only Bud I say that about. I say that about Inoue. I say that about a couple of dudes. It's like, okay, what makes you think? What do you see that, because it's faith, you have not seen it, that he's going to rise to that level against a fighter like this? I mean, whatever. Okay. Canelo is hearing that. Terence Bud Crawford is hearing that. I don't know. I could see, if you ask me, what do I see that Terence Bud Crawford has that could beat Canelo Alvarez? If I'm simply looking at it from Bud going against Canelo, I would say a few things. I would say, okay, you know what? Bud is pretty smart inside of that ring. He does get hit, whatever. He is pretty smart inside of that ring. I could see him trying to turn Canelo's aggression against him. I could totally see that. It's not taken away from Canelo, but we've seen Bud do that pretty good. And looking at both fighters, the way that they fight, the habits that they have inside the ring, I'm like, okay, I could see him somehow trying to make Canelo reach and make Canelo pay. Use his aggression against him. Okay, what else? Terence Bud Crawford, I'm not so sure how hard he punches, because he has, in his weight class, he is a puncher. In his weight class, he has a lot of knockouts. He has stopped his last, I don't know how many opponents. In his weight class, they say that your punch is carried through up weight classes. Okay, I don't know that. I know that Canelo has a granite chin. Okay, so can I say that Terence Bud Crawford can stop Canelo, knock him out, hurt him? It'd have to be a perfectly timed, perfectly landed punch that Canelo has no clue is coming. That's how I see that. That's what I see. Okay, so a puncher's chance, in other words, right? That's pretty much what I'm boiling down. Do I see him outboxing Canelo for 12 rounds? Now, this is another one because I'm one as well. Earlier when they were talking about this fight, right away I kind of jumped on the idea that, you know what? Canelo has a lot of advantages physically, but I think that Bud is a better boxer than Canelo. He has more skill. But when we say that, we're kind of ignoring the fact that Canelo is also very skillful inside that ring, right? Now, if we're going to measure how skillful they are against opponents that they face, it's like, okay, we're still favoring Bud. We're still favoring Bud. Canelo has a better defense than Terence Bud Crawford. People overlook that and they don't see that. He really does. Canelo has an underrated defense. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find something down here. Okay, so looking at the fights, we've seen how Bud came in. You guys, hold on. Let me get something to drink. All right, now, where were we? Okay, so speaking about the fight, you guys all saw the weigh-in, right? Everybody saw the weigh-in. Canelo looks like he is built he doesn't look as bulky. He looks leaner. He looks a little bit lighter. He obviously weighed in at the weight limit, 167.5. I don't know, he's taking in a different approach as far as how he's physically coming into this fight. You could see it. Excuse me, guys. Terence Bud Crawford had a year to put on the weight, and it looks like he did a good job of it. The reason I'm saying it looks like he did a good job of putting on the weight, because he's obviously still pretty cut. You know what I'm saying? You can see his ab muscles and all that, and you can see it in his arms. But when you look at the two, when they were actually facing off, you see that naturally Canelo's arms are a little bit bigger than Terence Bud Crawford's, right? As far as height, it doesn't look like there's much separating the two in height. They look like they're almost right there with each other. They both weighed exactly the same tonight. Who knows what they're going to weigh tomorrow? However, again, inside that ring, we've never seen Bud with that much muscle. Yeah, he's in great shape, absolutely. Is he going to be able to carry that weight around as much as he's going to in the ring, right? Is he going to move that much where it's going to work against him entire amount? Is Canelo's plan to go at Terence Bud Crawford with speed to make him move a lot that he gets tired with all the extra weight that he's carrying? Let's not sleep on the fact, y'all, that he put on about 14 pounds of muscle. That's a lot of muscle to put on, okay? And it doesn't sound like a lot when we're speaking about it, but go get a 15-pound dumbbell, okay? Strap that to yourself and go do a workout that you've been doing for years at a certain weight. You're gonna feel the difference. You may not feel it early in the fight, but you are going to start feeling it later. Canelo obviously came in better condition because he does not want to gas out in this fight for whatever reason. I personally don't see Terence Bud Crawford moving around the ring. I mean, I think it's smart that he would move a little bit. Otherwise, I mean, he's gonna be right there for Canelo. But I don't think that he's going to be jumping, bouncing around the ring like a William Skull. I just don't see Terence Bud Crawford fighting that way. That is not how the man's built. The man at some point is going to want to fight with Canelo Alvarez inside the ring. The man has pride, like Canelo said. They both do, right? They both do. However, we will not know until tomorrow night. So round one, obviously, round one, we could expect a we're going to be at the edge of our seats. Both these guys are going to be trying to register stuff into that computer, okay? I see Bud doing it. I see Canelo Alvarez doing it. By the second round, I think the fight's obviously going to turn up a little bit. Because in this fight, I want to say neither fighter they don't have the room to give up early rounds in this fight, especially not Terence Bud Crawford. Okay, because if you're going to get a win against Canelo, he's the champion and you're in Vegas, you're going to have to beat him pretty convincingly. Let's keep it real, right? You're going to have to beat him pretty convincingly, almost that you cannot give up early rounds. We've seen Terence Bud Crawford do that in the past, okay? When we talk about the speed factor, we don't know. You see, this fight, because of the weight classes, when we're talking about speed, when we're talking about all those things, it's a difference now because we ain't seen Crawford in that weight. We've seen Canelo in that weight. This is a tough one, guys. This is a very tough one, okay? One key detail that I'm paying attention to, and it's crazy in this fight because of the weight classes, because of just the difference in careers, how often, you know, they say that Canelo has a lot more miles, and that's very true because the man has so many fights. But it's not like Canelo's been in that many wars. When you look at Canelo's fights, it's not like he's been in there slugging it out every single fight that he's had. You know, there's been a lot of fights where, yeah, training camps and all that thing weigh on you, but he has not necessarily taken a lot of damage that could affect him right now. Let's not forget about the event itself, okay? How bad, and I'm going to stop really quick. How bad do you guys think that Bud actually wants this fight? And how much do you guys think that it was actually money that put him into that? Could I get a quick opinion on you guys? What do you guys think? I want to hear what you guys have to say. You guys think it was more before the money, or do you think it was more because he actually wanted to just prove that he was that great against Canelo of all people? Chimmy, both in for the money. I agree with you, Chimmy, but wouldn't you say that now Canelo actually looks like he's interested a little bit more in the fight? Not more interested than Bud, more interested than he was once upon a time. He looks motivated for it. Listen, he's getting that money regardless. He looks very motivated. %, money, 20% grade. So majority money. Okay. Okay. That's another place that I'm at. When we talk about Terence Crawford is hungry, I would agree that he is a hungry fighter, but this fight just kind of got thrown at him by Turkish Al-Sheikh. Canelo was never on Terence Crawford's radar, nor vice versa. So Terence Bud Crawford, obviously Turkish Al-Sheikh gave him a year to put the weight on. There's no secret about that. But it comes down to, okay, I know I could get ready for this guy. I know I could hang with this guy. I know that this guy is not just going to push me over. But how bad did I actually want this fight to begin with? How bad did I actually want it to begin with? You know what I'm saying? And I think the interest affects your motivation, right? It could either boost it or kind of like, I'm not too... Like Canelo's last fights. Canelo's last fights, I feel like, what could I say about it? He was motivated for those fights enough because he was making money off of them. Remember, Canelo himself said that I'm at a point right now where I could do what I want, move how I want, pretty much just fighting for money. But you could see that because of that, he wasn't as motivated as we've seen him. I see Canelo right now very, very motivated. He wasn't in the beginning, but he did become very, very motivated, probably because of the people talking. And I think that those are small things that we overlook too. I think that those are small things that we overlook as well. How bad did these guys want the fight? In the beginning they did it, now they do. Alright, you guys ready for it? Are you guys ready for it? I think that when they actually start to turn it on and start engaging inside that ring, you know, when they actually start doing that, I see Bud having early success. I definitely see in the early rounds, I don't see him rocking Canelo, but I definitely see him landing some shots on Canelo that get his attention, more that he's precise than actually hurt him. I definitely see that. But I also see, as the fight goes on, not even too late into the rounds, I'm talking by the 6th round, I think that the weight that Terence Bud Crawford put on is going to start taking some kind of effect. The more muscle you have, the more energy, the more oxygen that you use, right? So I think by the 6th round, and by the 6th round, Canelo's obviously ready to fight 12 rounds. That's how he's coming in. We're all calling it a knockout because of the size, but he's coming in ready to go 12 rounds. Okay. I think that Terrence Bud Crawford starts good early. I think that he lands his shots that get the crowd oohing and eyeing. But I think by the 6th round, the fight is going to turn. A couple of throwaway rounds in the beginning, right? A couple of cool exchanges. I think that by the time the fight gets a little bit later, around 7 rounds, I think by the time it gets to round 7, we're going to see high effects of that weight on Terrence Bud Crawford. And we're going to see Canelo Alvarez pressing the action and landing shots everywhere to Terrence Crawford. I see him doing that from the beginning of the fight, by the way, just landing shots everywhere. They may not be as clean. He may not be landing as clean as Crawford's going to be early, in my opinion, but they're going to have some effect later in the fight. I think it's going to come down to about round 10. I think the fight's going to get to round 10. I think both fighters are going to be they're going to be fairly tired. They're going to be fairly, into it, a little fatigued, right? Because they're going to be thinking a lot as well. Both of these guys are smart boxers. Both of them are going to be thinking. But I think the natural heart of aggression of Canelo is going to overcome the heart and aggression of Terrence Bud Crawford, because we cannot deny the fact that Bud has heart. We cannot deny the fact that Canelo Alvarez has heart. They're both skilled fighters. They're both beasts in their own weight divisions. Looking at it up and down, when I'm looking at resumes, when I'm looking at experience, when I'm looking at past opponents, when I'm looking at the past opponents on this side, when I'm looking all that, I see a late stoppage by Canelo in the 10th or the 11th round. I think he stops him. I don't think he knocks Bud out cold. I think that it gets to the point where Bud might even take a knee way later in the fight, okay? At some point, I think the idea is going to set into Terrence Bud Crawford, where he remembers how much he's getting paid, where he remembers that he was the small man coming up. I think around 10 or 11, Bud might even take a knee, and I think that right there, Canelo Alvarez gets the late stoppage. I'm not counting Bud out, but this is what I see happening. This is what I see happening. What up, Jesus? And you guys know me, man. I don't want to talk about it from a fan's perspective. I'm just looking at it on paper. Okay? Check this out. Canelo faster. Canelo better chin. Canelo better defense. Canelo bigger puncher. And I'm not taking away from Bud, you guys. There's just levels to this game. There's weight classes for a reason. If they were both natural 154 pounders, we're speaking about a different fight here. This is a whole different fight, but we're not. We're seeing a man at the end of his career jump up 3 weight classes to fight another man that's been dominating that weight class, that's been in that weight class for years. But go ahead, y'all. I want to hear you guys. Go ahead. Canelo uppercut round 7. Okay. Jonathan says that he believes that Bomac at some point might throw in the towel or stop the fight if Crawford gets hurt. That's a possibility, man. That's a possibility. They got a really good relationship, fighter and coach. So, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. And again, guys, I'm not counting out Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm just telling you guys what I see. Chimmy, I believe at this point, yes, he will. Once upon a time, when the fight barely started being talked about, no, because everybody's main focus, as far as boxing analysts, that they were talking about was just the size difference, the weight difference. But, as time went on, and I don't know the reason, and listen, like I said, man, and this is actually an interesting topic to me, because I like discussion, I like debate, I like to hear opinions on this, but we do this often in boxing, not even to Terrence Bud Crawford. We do it a lot in boxing. I've felt like this about a few fighters in the past years, where we give them their flowers. We say they could destroy this guy and all that. But when you look at their resume, there's no one that they faced that's in the same league as this guy. So how are we concluding that? Where are we getting this from? Yeah, we've seen what he could do against the fighters that he's faced, but he's not this fighter at all. So Is it a step in faith? I mean, I don't. That part, your boy right here, I'll tell you the absolute truth. When it comes to that small topic, I don't know. I don't know. I'm lost there. I try to figure it out. It's crazy, man. I stay thinking about this. Like, how do they conclude that far? It's kind of like, and I'm clowning on myself when I say this, but it said when Canelo Alvarez faced Caleb Plant. You guys obviously remember that. Do you guys remember that my man Andre Ward picked Caleb Plant to stop Canelo? Do you guys remember that? And at that time, I could not understand it because I'm thinking to myself, okay, to say that Plant beats Canelo, given his resume, and we've seen that how he fights, is one thing. Whatever. Okay, he's bigger. Maybe you think he could outbox Canelo. That's fair. Whatever. But to say that the man that doesn't have knockouts that we know is pillow-fisted, to say that he's going to stop Canelo, how in the world do you conclude that? Now, this was years ago. This is when Canelo fought Caleb Plant. This was a long time ago. I'm just saying, till now, the only thing that I could get from that is like, Andre, are you taking shots at Canelo? Are you trying to down talk Canelo? That's what I get from that. What up, Drew? Aztec, you remember that? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, how? I'm like, how? You know, Lemon, let me tell you though, man. Let me tell you guys though, on the last interview when Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr., Andre Ward was actually being a little bit more fair to Canelo. He said points that we often make. You know, he was saying that, let's not forget, Canelo wasn't calling for this fight, so it's not like he was calling out the little man. When he was talking about their skill level, he brought up the fact that Canelo is also skillful. Roy Jones Jr., man, is the one that just completely went off, and he's like, Bud won the stare down. Bud got the better boxing gloves. Puck, he picked the better colors. He ate the better meal before the fight. Like, every little thing, Roy's like, yo. Yeah, man, tomorrow is the day, man. Let's just all pray that the servers are able to handle the 100 million people that are going to be watching this. Now he does. I don't know what happened. Cooking Boxing, what's going on, sir? I'd like Canelo to box like Triple G versus Canelo 1 and Jacob versus Canelo. Canelo was talking about that he may box in this one. You know what I'm saying? He made that comment that in this one he may need to box a little bit more. He may be showing his defense a little bit more. We shall see. Yo, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of fun here. Truth and Absolute channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, Lemon, it's sometimes people make valid, I'm sorry, I can't speak, arguments. There's a lot of arguments where I'm like, okay, I get that. But then sometimes I'm like, what? Because he had a better music? Like, what is going on? Boxing Sage, what's going on, good sir? Tap that, yeah. Thank y'all for liking the live. Thank you guys for liking the live. Oh, Drew. So I broke it down a little bit earlier, man. Sorry you weren't in here, but I picked Canelo by late stoppage. TKO, late stoppage. About 10 or 11 rounds. I'm not counting Terrence Bud Crawford out. It's just from what I've seen of both fighters, when I look at their resumes, when I see what they bring to the table and how they compare to each other, that's just what I gather from that. Yo, you think Bud's on that snack sauce? Nah. That's crazy to think that Bud's fighting at this weight class. Like, little man, that's crazy, bro. I think he's going to be switching it up. Canelo could fight southpaws, though. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to switch it up. It's funny. I was thinking about... and it's a different fight, but you guys might kind of get what I'm saying. This could even very well kind of look like a Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight, how the first one went down. Obviously Ryan Garcia, it's Canelo is not Ryan Garcia. Obviously, their levels. I mean, both guys. You know, Bud is levels above Haney. Canelo is levels above Ryan Garcia. But the fact that, do y'all remember? I think it was the first round where Ryan Garcia threw that left hook at Devin Haney and caught him and almost dropped him. It was like very, very early in the fight. Canelo could jump out and do something like that. Who knows? Who knows? And just go back and forth until finally one guy's had enough. Who knows? Monty, it's not too crazy since he reached hydrated close to 168 in the Manjamal fight. Look at Floyd, he hardly ever gained weight. Yeah, but you know what? It's funny, man. It's funny, Martin, because I was just having this conversation with a couple of guys at work, and the thing is, man, yeah, you're right, but you know, Floyd against anybody never really rehydrated too much in weight. He never really rehydrated too much in weight. He would come in at a good fighting weight, but you see, Floyd was not counting on size. Floyd was not counting on none of that, and Floyd is a different animal, man. Floyd, that we're talking about a whole different fighter. Yeah, Floyd and Floyd's just different beast, man. That's a different guy. Let's just say he's a different guy. Austin. Drew, that's actually kind of funny, bro. I don't know, man. Coincidence? It's pretty funny, though. It's pretty funny. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Triple G right now in the current. Oh yeah, man. That was another different guy. Yeah, definitely, man. And I think Crawford is gonna fight Cookham. I think he really is. Aztec, facts, brother, facts. That's true. That's not how he won his fight, so it didn't matter for him the weight and all of that kind of stuff. You see, Dennis, that's actually not a bad take. I just don't see Bud resorting to that. I don't see that. I mean, that was funny as hell. I don't think you're onto something, Drew, but that was funny. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. Xander, weren't you here the other day, bro? Sibo man telling him to box down and get. Yeah, but even in just boxing, if he's strictly gonna box, man, I think that Canelo will. He's gonna feel Canelo's shots, man. He's definitely gonna feel his shots. And Bud's strong too. I'm not saying he's gonna get punked, but man, I don't know. I don't have as much faith as these analysts that just say Bud's gonna stop Canelo. Like, I just where? You know what I'm saying? Where? And you know, Aztec, to be fair, I think we all did that at some point. Just kind of ignored the fact of how skilled Canelo is. You know what I mean? It's Gander Shaz. I don't know what you're saying, bro. What are you showing the black stone for, bro? I agree. I don't see it. It doesn't have the power. Maybe. Yeah, you know. I don't want to take from Bud, but I mean to step out in faith. You know, it'd be like if I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't seen it, right? Like, let's just say that someone that I came out and said something like, "Hey, yo, Canelo is facing Bivol, and he's gonna fight just like Floyd." That's what this sounds like to me, because then you got to go back and it's like, when did he ever fight just like Floyd? I'm not talking about how good he is. I'm just talking about mimic him 100%. You know what I mean? It'd be a crazy claim. Isgander, I really don't know what you're doing, man, but God bless you, brother. All right, man. Canelo performance. Jonathan, you know, you're not the first person to say that, man. A lot of people are saying that. Gabe Rosado even picked Canelo to stop Crawford early. I think it was who was it? I forget what fighter said if it goes the distance, Canelo wins. If it doesn't, Bud wins. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, both fighters are great, man. I like seeing the respect between both fighters. I think that's so cool. May the best man win, man. May the best man win. All right, gentlemen, man. I'm gonna call it now, man. You already know, man. Saturday I work early, man. I don't know where you guys are gonna be watching the fight, assuming that everyone's gonna be watching it at home because it's gonna be on Netflix. Make sure you guys tune in. I may do some live commentary. If so, y'all make sure to stop through, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night, man. Thank y'all for stopping by and hearing me out. Much love. God bless y'all and peace.